I'm sitting here just enjoying a beautiful day on October the 6th, 2018. There's once more again heart-wrenching stories that are in the newspaper 2 days before Thanksgiving in theprovince.com in British Columbia. And it's about -2 or so in the Caribou country in northern British Columbia. Now I will read the story. It's a story about homelessness of youth, of people of all ages actually, and it's a story of people that are being displaced from their homes due to more and more fires. It seems to be very suspicious. There seems to be more and more fires that are in Vancouver where apartment buildings are burning. I will start now with the first story about homelessness. At least 681 youths are homeless. At age 16, Dylan Cohen experienced homelessness for the first time. He was living in Manitoba and had been living in foster care for 3 years before inadequate foster placements pushed him to homelessness. It was traumatizing, he said of the experience, which saw him couch surfing and staying in shelters. I was without my family, I was without my sister, I was completely away from my community. Cohen, who is now 23 and a youth organizer with Fostering Change, is not alone. According to the results of the first ever youth homelessness count conducted in Metro Vancouver, which were released on Thursday, at least 681 young people are experiencing homelessness across the region. 2/3 of respondents, like Cohen, ended up homeless for the first time at age 16. The count was conducted by the BC Nonprofit Housing Association on behalf of Metro Vancouver over 9 days in April. Data was gathered through surveys conducted at youth centers, high schools and shelters, and through client spreadsheets filled out by youth service providers. The idea was to address the hidden conditions of homeless youth and get a better idea of the extent of youth homelessness than could be had from traditional 24-hour point-in-time count. This research gives us better insights into why kids become homeless, how homelessness affects them, and how service agencies can better assist them, said Lorraine Copas, chair of the Metro Vancouver Homeless Partnering Strategy Community Advisory Board. The report showed that of the 681 youths who were found to be homeless, 349 were living in Vancouver, 106 were in Surrey, and 64 were on the North Shore. These areas accounted for 76% of youth experiencing homelessness in that region. More than half are between the ages of 19, 24, and 34% are between 13 and 18. The rest were under age 18 and 13. Most of these young people were living on their own, while 38 children were with a parent or guardian. Most respondents were couch surfing, 37% staying in a shelter, safe house or transition home, 33% detox center or recovery house, 2% when they were surveyed, 26% were staying outside, which includes in vehicles a makeshift shelter or tent or a vacant or abandoned building. More than half of youth said family conflict was a reason for becoming homeless. 41% listed drugs or addiction, and 33% said they had challenges with mental health. Half of these surveyed are or were previously in foster care. 11% became homeless after aging out of care. About 44% of youth had been homeless for a year or home. High rent, low income, and mental health challenges were considered the top 3 barriers to housing. Results showed that Aboriginal or Indigenous LGBTQ 2S youth were overrepresented among the homeless population. A high proportion, 42% of youth, identified as Aboriginal or Indigenous, and about 75% of those respondents were more likely to become homeless under age 19, compared to 67% of non-Aboriginals. If anything, this issue is going to get worse if we don't do anything about it, said David Wells, chair of the Aboriginal Homeless Steering Committee. As with all homelessness counts, with the report is considered to be an undercount. Youth are highly underrepresented in these reports, said Hanrahan. The methodology for this report was the first of its kind in terms of it spanning over 9 days. However, what I do know is there is a lot of youths that go undercounted over 9 days. If you want more information on this situation, you can go to Jen Salt man at postmedia.com, twitter.com/Jen Saltman. That's it right there. And it definitely is a problem, because when I was in Vancouver, I remember not only 2 blocks of homeless people now. Now there's tents everywhere on the streets. There's tents in Oppenheimer Park. There's tents everywhere. It's the worst that I've ever seen it in the 46 years that I've lived in British Columbia. It's the worst case scenario that I've ever seen. It's gotten really bad. And we have to look at the situation and ask ourselves, why is it happening and what can be done about it? Because Vancouver shouldn't just be represented as a city of the rich and called the most livable city over and over again, when as a matter of fact we cannot overlook the people that cannot afford these rents, that are just starting up, and we have to look after everybody in our society to be a good, fruitful society that really works really well. Have a good day. I hope this reading has really helped a lot of people to open up their minds as to the situation. That we have to take care of everybody in our society.